Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. It is the first Thursday of the month, which means it is recipe time on Across the Fence. Food and culture are interwoven. Traditional cuisine is passed down from one generation to the next. Immigrants bring the food traditions of their countries when they relocate, partly because it's a way of preserving their culture. The great melting pot of America has a lot of different influences when it comes to food, and today we're going to learn about some that come from south of the border. With an eye on tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo, here's Chef Marco, who's offering up a menu that's interspersed with history.
Thank you, Fran. Hi, I'm Marco Ayala, and I'm here to share another recipe with all of you. And I think that Fran expressed that so well because I am very excited about Cinco de Mayo. If you can tell, I'm wearing my Mexico t-shirt. And I've been proudly calling myself a Vermonter for over 15 years now. However, I am from Mexico and I always keep Mexico in my heart as well. Now, having said that, I love Cinco de Mayo because I find it as a great opportunity to share some of my heritage, some of my culture, some of my recipes with my friends, my acquired family here in Vermont, and with all of you. Now, something that I get often asked is if Cinco de Mayo is the equivalent to 4th of July here in the US, and the answer is no. In fact, in Mexico, we do recognize Cinco de Mayo as a holiday which commemorates the Battle of Puebla, but it's not really our biggest holiday. That is on September 16 when Mexico gained its independence from Spain. But you may be asking, well, then why do we celebrate Cinco de Mayo here in the US? And the answer is actually very interesting because the Battle of Puebla was a very unlikely battle for Mexico to win. Mexico was being invaded by France, and Napoleon sent about 6,000 soldiers that battled 2,000 Mexican soldiers. So it was a very unlikely battle, and at the end of the day, they won the battle, and that was huge because of the disparity in the numbers. And it is believed by historians that had Mexico not won that battle, eventually the Confederates would have allied with France, and that could have changed the outcome of the Civil War in the US. So that's one part of it. Then in the 70s and 80s, the Chicano movement in California also took Cinco de Mayo as an analogy of the struggles and the perseverance of the Mexican people. And that's really when Cinco de Mayo became so popular in the US, and it started getting adopted not only by the Chicano movement, but by everyone in general. And now we fast forward to 2023, where we love having tacos, having the occasional margarita, and celebrating everything Mexico. However, I am not the only one that is excited about Cinco de Mayo. My assistant Nico is also quite excited. So he's wearing his typical sarape, and he's also wearing his Mexican hat. So look at that. Nico is all ready and geared up for Cinco de Mayo. So, however, we're gonna let Nico go over and check out more of the celebration. So let's talk food in the meantime. And Mexican cuisine is very celebrated all around the world because it's so good. One of my favorite foods in Mexico are called garnachas. And garnachas means street food. And even though this is street food, this is something that also, mom will make on, any given day for lunch. And I'm telling you, you are really going to enjoy this because it's a recipe that is very easy, but also it's very affordable because the ingredients there are very few ingredients. They're ingredients that you probably already have, and this recipe won't break the bank. And this is flautas. And look at those. They look delicious. The word flauta means flute, and it's because, as you can see, they're these fried tacos that kind of resemble a flute. And they are fried to perfection, and they are topped with some yummy things. So let me tell you how to put them together. First, you're gonna take a roasted chicken, you're gonna remove all the meat, and you're gonna shred it. And right off the bat, you can notice that I'm using a pre-cooked rotisserie chicken for two reasons. One, they're very cheap, but most importantly, this is the kind of recipe where if you have chicken in your freezer, you can always cook it and use that chicken. If you have leftover chicken, you can also use it in this recipe. Once your chicken is shredded, you're gonna season it. In this case, I'm using chile verde seasoning. However, you can use taco seasoning, lemon pepper seasoning, or the seasoning of your choice. Then you're gonna mix it well and set it aside. Then you're gonna take a large pan or griddle and set it over medium heat. Then you're gonna take one package corn tortillas. And it is important that you get white corn tortillas, as this recipe wouldn't work with flour tortillas. On the griddle, you're gonna warm up the tortillas about 4 at a time. And it is important that you warm the tortillas on a griddle or a large pan, because if you do it in the microwave, they tend to get a little hard, as opposed to when you warm them in the griddle and they're nice and flexible, so you can roll them into tacos. Then you're gonna take your tortilla, add some of the seasoned chicken, then you're gonna roll them and set them aside. And you're gonna repeat this process until all of the tortillas in your package are used. Now you may be thinking, that is a lot of tacos, because each package of tortillas comes with 30 tortillas. Yes, I made about 34 tacos out of that chicken. However, something that is great about this recipe is that, one, it will feed a crowd. It is a recipe that you can make ahead and then freeze. And I freeze them in 5 to 6 taco portions, which is perfect for any night. Once you're ready to make your tacos, to a frying pan, you're gonna add vegetable oil. Once the oil is hot, you're gonna add your tacos. Once your tacos are nicely browned, remove them from the oil and let them drain on a paper towel. Depending on the number of tacos that you're making, will be the amount of toppings that you will need. So you're gonna take an iceberg lettuce and cut it into ribbons, very fine. Depending on the amount that you're making, you're gonna add the juice of half or 1 whole lime and a little salt to taste. Next, you're gonna take some queso fresco and you're gonna crumble it. Then, to assemble your flautas, you're gonna smother them with sour cream, sprinkle some of the crumbled fresh cheese, and top them with salsa. And then, lastly, you are going to top it with your lettuce. And look at that. Doesn't that look absolutely delicious? I really hope that you give this recipe a try, because I think that your family is really going to enjoy it. It's a fun recipe for Cinco de Mayo or for any other day of the week. As I said, I usually keep this flautas in my freezer because it's a very easy and fast way to put a meal together in basically just minutes. So give it a try. Now that we talk main dish, let's talk about dessert, because Mexican desserts are also really good. And I wanted to make something that really spoke to, again, my upbringing. And this recipe, some people call it Carlota de Limón, but I know it as Grandma's lime dessert, because that's the way we always thought about it when we were growing up. And look at this. It looks like a custard that is made with lime. It's made with very basic ingredients that, again, you probably already have in your pantry. So let me tell you how my grandma used to put this together. First, to a blender, you're gonna add 1 can sweetened condensed milk and 1 can evaporated milk. Then you're gonna take about 8 limes and squeeze the juice into a cup. Then you're gonna add the lime to the milk mixture. Then you're gonna blend all the ingredients well. As you can see, it thickens quite a bit. In a 9x13 pan, you're gonna put a layer of Maria cookies at the bottom. Once you create your base layer, you're gonna take about 1/3 of the custard and spread it over the cookies. Then you're gonna put another layer of Maria cookies and another layer of lime custard. And you should have enough for 3 layers of cookies. And once the top layer of custard is on, you're gonna transfer it to the fridge and you're gonna refrigerate it for about 4 to 6 hours until the custard is set. And once you take it out, all there is just a little decorating. So I am going to put some sanding sugar over it. Sanding sugar is this sort of like coarse sugar that it's tinted with different colors. In this case, I'm using gold. Look how pretty that looks. And I will say that my grandma will be very proud that I'm sharing this recipe with all of you. So I really hope that you give it a try. As I always say, let me know how you like the recipes. If you have any questions, any comments, you can connect with Across the Fence through social media. So remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get all these recipes and all the content from Across the Fence right on your phone or your computer. And let's bring back these Mexican recipes that are perfect for Cinco de Mayo or any other night of the week. I gotta say that my assistant Nico has already gone to celebrate. So on his behalf, I'm gonna tell all of you, happy Cinco de Mayo and enjoy your food.
Thank you, Marco, and happy Cinco de Mayo. That's our program for today. Once again, thank you for joining us Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.